Welcome back to South Georgia Home. I'm going to go through a couple of estate sale, yard sale and estate sale hauls with you this morning. I went to one this morning. It was local, across town, maybe 15-20 minutes to get there. Stopped and picked up my mother. My father and her both knew the people that lived there. The man has passed away, and his wife, I believe, is in a home or living with someone in the family. I'm not sure. I didn't ask, and I didn't hear him say. But the son and his wife were conducting the sale. We got there a couple of minutes after 8, and there was no, on the posting it told you the days, but it didn't really give you a time. And so I just guessed 8 o'clock. We got there a few minutes after 8, and I said, are we too early? And he said, no, it's great, come on in. We were the only people there. We were the only ones there the whole time we were there. Nice, super nice people, and super good, great prices. They weren't looking to gouge anybody. And I don't know that I'm gonna, well, I might be able to sell one or two things. Last weekend we went to a yard sale in Chipley, and Chipley's over an hour away from us, back in the country. These people were way back in the country. And we stopped at a little roadside yard sale. Didn't get much of either, so we're gonna include that in with this estate sale haul. And I did get a couple of things I wanna try to sell there as well. So the first thing I picked up, I saw the pictures on Facebook Marketplace prior to the sale, and I wasn't really impressed with a lot of them. And then they added more pictures later, and it was later on in the afternoon on Friday, and I said, it won't do me any good to get up and go now because, you know, by the time I get down there, they're probably gonna be shutting down. So we went Saturday, and I drugged my husband. We got up Saturday morning and did it, and the things that I had seen in the picture, one of them was a Bartlett Collins cookie jar. It was gone. One was a Pyrex lid with the sunflower thing on the top. It was gone. But she was bringing out, she did have a box of mugs, and one of those ladies were cherry picking all the mugs. And so when she turned her back to take her mugs to her pile, and before she could come back, I stepped over to look. And when we get into old mugs, I don't try to sell a whole lot of old mugs, but my husband, we have a super huge collection of old mugs that he drinks out of, that he drinks his morning coffee out of. So I showed him these, and he said, sure, I'll take them. And they were 50 cents a piece. It's the old Fire King. I believe they're called barrel mugs. I'm not sure. It's a Fire King mug. Both of them are white milk glass. One of them he's got over there by there's Keurig now. He says he doesn't like the seam on the handle. It's kind of uncomfortable. But other than that, 50 cents a piece. So it was $1. I did pick these up for resale. It's in the original box, and it says never used, and I believe that. But it's the fake antler handle look, probably, you know, lucite or something, Bakelite, something like that. They are in great shape. They do say stainless steel. And the box itself says American made cutlery. So this isn't anything from England or anything like that. There's the outside of the lid, and they're inside the bottom part. So the box is complete. It's a little rip right here in the box. Let me see if I can show you right there. But that'll probably be for sale. The next piece that I picked up I thought was really neat, and I don't know if I want to sell it or if I want to keep it. I really like this kind of thing. It kind of harkens back to the days when people, before computers and where you had to do a lot of your own stuff. When you didn't just look at your phone to figure out what day it was. It's a desk set, a pen holder with a little calendar. These short knobs right here will flip the dates, the numbers, and then the knob here, or inside knob right here, and then over here, will flip the month and the day of the week. So you can tell it to say whatever day you want it to say. You know, if it's Monday morning and you want to fool yourself, flip it on over to Friday. It's sitting on a base of marble, so it is kind of heavy, but it was also $5. Excuse me. So the knife and pitchfork set there, and this was $10, and the mug was $11. This, I walked by this, they had a tote full of these. I don't really collect a whole lot of them. They had some that was that peachy, pinkish, thin copper cheap stuff, molds, and then they had a few of these, but this one was a chicken, so I couldn't pass it up. Is there like an unwritten rule when you own chickens, you just buy chicken stuff? It's got the little hanger to it. It's it says solid copper, but I don't know. It does say made in Portugal on the side right there. I don't know if you can see it. That was $3. So we're up to 14. And then this, I have no idea why I picked this up. No idea at all. It's clean, it's not used, it's made by the Fuller Brush Company. And I've seen one of these in an antique store, probably in worse shape than what I've got in my hand, but I have no idea if there's a market to sell this. I don't know. But it has all the fruit on it, and it's the table brush. It's called the Deluxe Table Tidy. And it comes in the original box. It was 50 cents, I picked that up. They did have older appliances there. So if you were looking for an old blender, or old mixers, or old toaster ovens, they were your people. She did have the lady who was collecting all that, she was coming out the door with it. There was one piece she didn't jump on. And I was wondering until I saw the price. It was a spice rack. It's a double spice rack that had the glass milk jar, or the glass, milk glass jars. They had the yellow lids, and then most of them had their labels or some kind of label on them. They weren't in the best of shape. They were in great shape for the age they were, but she had a $100 price tag on them. Now, I saw a set on Facebook Marketplace just this morning, just like it, except the lids were red. The rack, I don't think was yellow, but the lids were red, and most of all of them had their labels. They were in great shape, better shape than hers, and they were only $50. So they were still sitting on the table when I left. So we left there. We went over to this roadside yard sale. Now, this is one of those places that used to be a convenience store back in the day when they only had 2 pumps, and the little building is decrepit, and the people outside, this is their main source of income, it looks like. It was a corner, and it was accumulated junk. And it's the kind that stays out year round. You know, it had rained that morning, and this stuff was covered in water. Anyway, we stopped. I thought, hey, there's a lot of junk here. And I mean junk in the best possible way. I mean, I stopped to look at it and bought a few pieces, so it's got to be good, right? Anyway, I picked up 2 of these. I like the pattern. I think it's dainty, and it is made in England. Little English teacup. I picked up 2 of them. There were 3. One had a chip. I picked up 2. There were also coffee mugs and plates and saucers and bowls in the same pattern. But as much as I liked these, I didn't want a whole set. So I just wanted these 2 coffee mugs. Well, the guy was walking around, and he saw me with them, and he says, I don't know if I can break up that set. And there wasn't a sign saying you got to buy the whole set. And so he went over there, and he says, no, these coffee mugs, I can put those with the rest of it and sell it as a set. Yeah, you can have those. But then there was a 3rd cup, and he's like, you want to leave that one all by itself? And that was the reason I was leaving it. It was right here, big chip. And I was like, oh, the guys, you know, I knew I was getting hoodooed, and he was making it sound like he was doing me a favor by breaking these out of the set. So I was like, you know, whatever, I'll take it. So I picked up those 3. I wandered around, and these were the kind of things they had, like ice cream tub containers sitting out there with stuff in them, screws and bits and nails, clothespins. This one is what I really wanted. I only found this one. It's in good shape. I think my grandmother-in-law gave me some like this before. I don't know. I think they're old. Maybe they're not. I don't know. My mother used to use the old clamp ones when we had a clothesline. But I didn't want to just get one, so I picked out 2 more that I thought looked okay. So 3 clothespins. 3 cups, 3 clothespins. 3 was the number of the day. So I found these on a shelf, and they were completely covered in dirt and that rust-colored stuff. Let me see here. My husband encouraged me to get them. I was going to leave them. He's like, oh, go ahead and get them. You can get that off. But you can see right there, there's a little line of it. I washed these trying to get it off. I'm going to have to do something else to try to get that. I'm hoping it's not under the glaze. I don't think it is. But we'll see. These are in pretty good shape. There's not a lot of crazing or staining except for that. You could probably clean these up, get the stains off, and you can use them as everyday kitchenware. There's all 3 of them. They're all in great shape. Not marked. None of them are marked. Sometimes you find this and it's marked USA, but not these. I have 2 serving bowls and a platter that I use regularly. I have some berry bowls back here in this little egg carton thing, in this. And then keep this pattern in mind because I'm going to show you something else in a minute that matches it. So 3 plates, 3 cups, 3 clothespins, $3 is what I paid there. So $17.50 for last weekend's haul. And that was it. It was a long way to go for $17.50. So this morning we went to this estate sale. My mother went with me. She didn't buy anything. You know, I tried to get her to. No. I walked around. I started looking. I always go to the kitchen. I always look, you know, see what the old dishwares. I'm just drawn to it. And I noticed there were no prices on anything. And she says, "Oh, we'll make a pile and we'll make a deal." And I don't want to get into that situation where I make a pile and someone says, "Okay, $150." No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to hurt your feelings, and I don't want to say, "Oh no, I'm cheap. I'm not going to pay $150 for this." So I started to ask the lady, "Is there somewhere I can put this?" And she said, "Oh yeah, there's a table here." And I was like, "I don't see any prices." And she said, "Something like this, what I'm about to show you, $2. So I have these 2 saucers and a platter for $2. And then I kind of relaxed and I go, okay, I can shop. So remember the plates? There you go. Saucers. I don't have any cups. These are in great shape too. They don't have any crazing or cracking or staining. They're the same. Slowly but surely I'm accumulating another set of dishes. Like I need another set. Of that pattern. And I think it was probably just a cheap pattern that was sold back in the day and everybody and their brother in the farmland could have these. It was like an everyday china. That and this was $2 together. Now, I have never seen a Shenango pattern or a Shenango back stamp that's colored, but I did today. This is a heavy piece of plate. It's restaurant wear, and that's what it's for, is to be able to chunk it around and not worry about it getting broken or chipped. But I do like the pattern on it. That emerald green pattern. And sometimes if I run across these in estate thrift stores, I don't bother to pick them up because I have a bunch of platters. And do I really need to get in to do more patterns? But this could be used around Christmas time. There's that Shenango back stamp that's colored. I liked it. They had a couple other platters, but they were newer, and one was Christmassy. I didn't pick those up. So in the bedroom, one bedroom had a king-size bed in it, and the other bedroom had a full-size bed, and it was covered in quilts. And so I yelled out, "How much is this quilt?" They had store-bought quilts, commercially made quilts, which I'm not interested in. And I said, "How much is this one quilt that was left that was handmade?" And it has a lot of damage. I mean, I'll show you that right now. You can see there, it's a little ratty and tatty on one end. But it is the handmade, and on the other end, not just one end, yeah. But it is a homemade with the squares. Somebody took a lot of time to do this. I don't sew, I don't quilt, so I don't have the patience for it, I don't think. But there's the back side of it. Now, this will not be used for covering people for warmth. What it will be used for is either across the foot of our bed or folded up in a cabinet, probably the cabinet I'm going to show you. So $5 for that, and I thought for $5 you can't pass it up. In that same room, I found this. I'm not really one for. It looks like a part of a needle point, and you just stop and you frame it. Not really one to enjoy that, but I like the frame, and I'm kind of on the fence about taking this out and just putting a picture in it. But I really like the frame. It's not old, it's probably plastic. It's got a little kickstand on the back and its hanger. If you want to take the kickstand off, you just pull it straight out. And I've done it already. It'll take too much time for me to show you, but you can just pull it out and put it back in. I like the subject matter, but like I said, I don't really know if I like just one piece of needlepoint just framed. Saying that and saying this, I found this in a closet in the other bedroom. They had one bedroom that had a bed in it, and the other guest room had just tables of knickknacks and stuff. This was in the closet. Again, I like the subject matter. It's the old kind of small town church on Sunday morning. Yeah, Yeah, it's got the fences. I didn't notice it was fences. I thought it was like ivy or something growing, but fences here, walking, leading you up to the front store. And this, I don't know if it's a date, someone's initials, or a Bible verse. Don't know. I don't know if she had this professionally framed for her or if she just bought it this way. But I do like this subject matter. It's a good heavy frame as well. It's good solid wood frame. So now the rest of this, I don't know. The platter and the saucers, she did say $2. Everything else was just in a pile, and when we were going through it, she was just flipping it over and I wound up paying $17 for everything, and then $20 for a piece of furniture, and I'm going to show you that in a second. This is my one boo-boo. You're supposed to, when you pick up something, you're supposed to check it for chips and cracks and repairs. And I was excited. There was a lot to see in that house. She collected chickens. She had chickens everywhere. But I saw this sitting on the shelf, and I picked it up, and I wasn't going to really, it didn't just scream my name, but then I picked it up and I saw that it said McCoy. It's got a number up above it, and then McCoy, and then USA. I think it's maybe the 70s or 80s look. It's the washstand picture kind of look. And it's coming off probably white to you. And I thought it was white when I first picked it up. But when you look at it closer, it's actually very, very pale blue. I don't know if you can see that in the creaks and the little joint there. It's a pale blue. However, I didn't see it till I got home. I think she charged me $1 or $2 for this. And that was probably why it was left behind. Anybody the first day probably did see the chip and just put it back on the shelf. So now I have a picture that I didn't really fall in love with, but now we'll just figure out a way to style it somehow in the house. Now in the master bedroom, they had a master walk-in closet, and she had a few things in there that were kryptonite for me. My kryptonite. It's a weakness. A weakness. I have no idea. I have no idea. This is a large one. It's kind of a tan color. It's that very soft cotton thread. But I picked it up and I tried to be strong and put it back down. It didn't work. The other two things that I found, this is a dresser scarf, and I don't think it's old. The fabric doesn't feel old. Feels kind of a newer. If you handle vintage linen or antique linen, you kind of know what it feels like. And this is more of, I think, newer material. But somebody took the time to needlepoint in this little lady with her hoop skirt and eyelet lace. There's no snags, no holes, no stains, and it's the same on both ends. Same little lady, same lace. So I think that might go on eBay. And then this will probably go with it. I thought it was really pretty. I've never seen a doily like this. I don't think you would use it like a doily, but it is really interesting. And I thought, man, that's really pretty. Not that I need it, not that I know wherever in the world to put it in my house, but I picked it up. It's a woman. There's the skirt, there's the arm, and here's her bonnet. So it's a little lady. It's a doily that makes it look like a little lady. These flowers are not glued on, I don't believe. I think they're sewed on, so if you didn't want the flowers, you could certainly cut them off. Kind of see in there. I don't know if you can see it, but I don't see any glue. So that and the scarf, if I list them for eBay, that and the scarf will probably be listed together as one thing. Let's see. I picked this up, and I know it's in bad shape, but if you try to find one in an antique store, you're paying $20 and $25. I'm too cheap. And I know they're in perfect condition in an antique store, or most of the time they're in perfect condition. But I've never had the good luck to find one of these in a Goodwill or a Salvation Army. It is, I guess, a butter mold. Some people might use it as a cookie mold. Now the top of this, I do realize, is damaged. It's missing something up there. That's what it looks like on the bottom. This is cracked on the ends. But I'm not going to use this for butter. I'm not going to use this for cookies. And the reason I say cookie mold, it almost made me think that there was flour on this at some point. Not sure. But it is well-worn wood, and I like it. So she threw this in, I think it was $1. I'm not sure. Like, again, I'm not sure. I know everything I bought was $17. This was in a closet. They had some wrapping paper, but it wasn't vintage. This was in there with it, though. It is craft paper. I believe it's 15 foot. Yeah, 15 foot long craft paper, Duck brand. You can use it, I guess, to wrap presents if you want, or any other craft. I was thinking about, you know, when I package stuff, I think it was $1 for the roll. Anyway, that was what I got inside. I believe that was it. And then I'm going to show you the piece of furniture that I got. Hold on. So here's the furniture that I bought. Now the basket, I usually keep that over there in a chair. This is just for show. This is not bought today. I have found myself in possession of a few antique miniature tablecloths, what I call miniature. They're very small. They won't fit my table, but they were at estate sales or thrift stores, and I bought them. And that is the jug that I just showed you. So I just stuck that up here, just a little decoration. But this is not where it's going to stay, and that's not what's going to be on top of it. But this is what it looks like. You can see the detail at the bottom. Those are not original handles, of course, and you can see they've done damage. It does have this little flicker thing here that holds doors shut. And this was used at one time, I'm guessing, as a TV cabinet. Big TV down here because there's holes, and then the shelf where you would put your satellite place, it has a hole there. And there is the rails there for a shelf to be put back. So just matching up, I guess, the stain in there would be the biggest thing. And you can see the construction of these. The drawer doesn't have the original handles on it, but it is sturdy. It isn't clean, it is sturdy, and I liked it. My husband agrees with me, kind of likes it too. It's not as wide as the piece of furniture where it's going. It's not as wide as what's there already. So we're cutting in a little space. But anyway, the guy, I took him outside and I'm like, how much is this? And he said, I don't know, give me an offer. And I hate doing that, and I'm glad I didn't. He was saying, you know, what do you think it's worth? And I said, oh, I'm no good at this. And I said, I know how much money I have in my pocket. I know I have a pile in the house, and so we got to get within that. And so he said $20. I was thinking he was going to say 50, and even at 50, I probably would have bought it. But he said $20. Is that fair? And I said, sure. I do believe these are original hinges. It's in great shape as far as, you know, everything else except for the holes in the back, which that'll be to the wall anyway. Pay no attention to the boxes. That's Goodwill stuff going. Now the top is really scratched up, as you can see, so it needs to be refinished. And I am not one to say sand this down and repaint it some color. I would like it to look like this, just a better finish. I'll show you where it's going to go. It's going to go right over here. There's Oscar, little Oscar, chilling out, living his best life. I want to replace this. It's like a console table. We bought this at Kirkland's years and years and years ago. But I want to put it here. And of course, this is a little bit wider than that new cabinet, and it's of course shorter. But that's probably going to be a project piece. So that is all for this week's and last week's thrift hauls. I've got other hauls that I probably should have filmed before this, but since I came in this morning and I was kind of excited about the stuff that I got, especially the cabinet, went ahead and decided to do it all together. We've got more stuff, like I said, more estate sale hauls that I need to film. And we have another food preservation video coming up, hopefully soon. So thank you for joining us at South Georgia Home. Hope to see you again.